This year, there are two phones in the flagship Pixel series, the $599 Pixel 6 and $899 Pixel 6 Pro. Of the two phones, the more affordable Pixel 6 is priced to compete with the iPhone 13, Samsung Galaxy S21, as well as other Android mid-tier phones like the Motorola Edge 2021. A big thing to note with the Pixels is their new processor, a custom-designed ARM SoC system on a chip that Google is calling Tensor. Google says it's competitive with the Snapdragon 888 from Qualcomm, which is what you find in basically every other high-end Android phone available right now. Before starting the video, be sure to smash that like button and subscribe to never miss out on any of our videos. The Google Pixel 6 is the biggest update to the search giant smartphone line in years. And while Google's new Tensor chipset doesn't quite reinvent the wheel, it empowers the handset's photo software to produce some of the best images we've seen from a phone. The Google Pixel 6 isn't the most powerful phone on the market, but its new Tensor chipset elevates its photo-taking capabilities beyond that of rival handsets. While it lacks a telephoto lens and its battery life isn't anything to brag about, it's a big phone with a 6.4-inch display, a radical new design, and a price that can undercut rival Android phones, although carrier-specific versions might be pricier. If you were expecting a powerhouse to rival the Apple-built A-series Bionic chipsets in iPhones, you'll be disappointed. The Pixel 6 isn't slow, but its benchmark results put its performance capability around atypical phones such as the Galaxy, Samsung Z Flip 3, and below even the Samsung Galaxy S20 Fan Edition. With the introduction of Google's custom Tensor chip, the Pixel 6's performance is one of the biggest questions on Pixel fans' minds. When it comes to raw power, we know where it stands, but it's less clear how this will hold up in the long term. Google said the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro are the fastest Pixels ever, and that's unquestionably true. Last year's Pixel 5 dropped to a mid-tier Snapdragon 765G processor, and the previous flagship class Pixels featured the Snapdragon 855 processor from 2018. Defeating that competition isn't gonna put fear into the hearts of Apple or Samsung. However, Google spent years developing Tensor with a focus on delivering superior performance through advanced on-device AI for faster and better speech recognition and improved imaging processing. Some of this will require more extensive testing, but in roughly a week with the phone, the investment appears to have paid off. The Pixel 6 doesn't come packing a greater camera count than its predecessor. You'll have to upgrade to the Pixel 6 Pro for a telephoto shooter, but the suite has been upgraded with a higher megapixel cameras and software, which Google asserts is empowered by its Tensor chipset. Compared to images captured on a flagship such as the iPhone 12 Pro or last year's Google phones such as the Google Pixel 5a, the Pixel 6 takes better photos. There's more nuance in the color and shadows, along with more true-to-life temperature that reflects real conditions. On the rear, the Pixel 6 has a 50-megapixel main shooter with an 82-degree field of view and 1.85 aperture, and a 12-megapixel ultra-wide sensor with a 114-degree field of view and 2.2 aperture. The Pixel 6 also includes an 8-megapixel front-facing camera and a punch hole at the center top of the display, which has an 84-degree field of view and 2.0 aperture. There's no optical zoom available here then, as there's on the Pro model, but the Pixel 6's Super Res Zoom does deliver a 7x digital zoom. Note that digital zoom isn't as good as optical since it crops into the image to artificially get you closer to the action, resulting in a slight loss in image quality. As would be expected, the Pixel 6's zoom capabilities are limited. Don't expect to get much clarity beyond 2x zoom for that. Opt for the Pixel 6 Pro instead. The Google Pixel 6 Pro is the company's most ambitious smartphone to date and a major improvement over last year's Pixel 5. Now, the Pixel 5 was a fine phone with an excellent camera, good performance, and a lot of value for the price. But it was also a bit boring. With the Pixel 6 Pro, Google overhauls everything inside and out. The phone sports a new Tensor chip that delivers superb performance, a vivid OLED panel, and a battery that lasts all day. It's the most expensive phone in Google's lineup, which includes the Pixel 6 starting at $599 and the wallet-friendly Pixel 5a with 5G $449, but it stands out as the best high-end Android you can buy right now, earning our Editor's Choice Award for Android flagships. The Pixel 6 Pro ships with Android 12, which has been completely reimagined with the new Material U UI. Google also worked on several exclusive features for the Pixel 6 lineup. Material U uses contextual clues based on your habits and color preferences to choose custom backgrounds and icons. It does more than simply choose a background though, obsessed with the velvety purple and lush gold tones you see in one of Deanna Lawson's photos. Snap a photo and Google will attempt to recreate a similar palette with custom icons. Transcription features are improved. In Google Messages, Instagram, and several other messaging apps, Google automatically recognizes other languages and offers to translate them into your native tongue. You can even use the Recorder app to translate German or Japanese into English in real time. Similarly, the updates to voice typing are welcome improvements. Gboard, Recorder, Translation, and other apps use your preferences, contacts, and other data to understand the context. The Pixel 6 Pro will automatically pick the correct spelling of a friend's name and even punctuate your sentences properly. Finally, Google is even making phone calls less painful with the Pixel 6 Pro. After introducing Hold for Me last year, it added 2 new features for 1-800 calls. Wait times, which shows estimated hold times throughout the day before you hit send or place a call, worked about half the time for us. Direct My Call transcribes calls and creates buttons for you to select based on voice automation prompts. That said, it's not entirely accurate and requires you to manually toggle on a setting hidden in the phone apps menu. As for Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, there are similarities in many ways, but the standout difference is probably the price. There's a $300 difference between the base and Pro models. For ponying up the extra cash, you get added features including a larger and higher res screen, a bigger battery, support for both sub-6 and millimeter wave 5G, the ultra-fast but less reliable flavor of 5G, and the third rear camera, a telephoto lens with 4x optical zoom. As a reference point, that's higher than the iPhone 13's 3x optical zoom. If you spring for the Pixel 6 Pro, you also get a 4x telephoto camera that's not available on the standard Pixel 6. This uses folded optics, has 48 megapixels, also binned down to 12 megapixel output, and has a 3.5 aperture lens, 4x a slightly longer reach than you get with the iPhone 13 Pro's 3x tele, but not nearly as far as the 10x lens that the Samsung has been putting on its high-end phones, not to mention the even longer lenses companies like Xiaomi and Huawei have deployed recently. The front cameras differ between the models too, with the Pixel 6 getting an 8-megapixel 84-degree field of view and the 6 Pro using an 11.1-megapixel 94-degree camera. That translates into you'll be able to fit more people in a selfie with the 6 Pro than you can with the 6. The new processor enables some new image editing features like a magic eraser tool that gets rid of distracting elements in your images automatically and new long exposure and motion blur capture modes. For video, both phones can shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second, now complete with Google's Auto HDR image processing, or capture up to 240 frames per second slow-mo video at 1080p. The Pixel 6 Pro is significantly pricier than the standard issue Pixel 6, making the latter incredibly good value for its price. Sufficiently powerful, with a battery lasting little more than a full day, but with cameras and photo software that outstrip other flagship phones. It might not be the most impressive phone on the market, but it hits a sweet spot of capability and more unique perks for its price point. Google really wants us to know that the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro are a turning point for the company. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out the following videos here.